Rough Riders start a three-game series against the Midland Rockhounds, and we're joined by Riders outfielder Joe Benson, just off the disabled list. And Joe, you were not here for all of the games that the team had lost. You were out in Arizona getting ready, but how big of a shot in the arm was yesterday's big win, especially the way you did it with 15 hits?
While I was down in Arizona, I was following the team on the MILB app and kind of keeping track of everybody, and I saw we had hit a rough patch. Coming into San Antonio, I know we had struggled scoring some runs, and we hit kind of a little dull patch there. But, last night everyone was feeling good. It's always good to win on a getaway day, especially when you've been struggling like that. And hopefully it'll lift our spirits and kind of get us on a little run here to end the season.
Can a game like that really pick a team up for multiple games at a time? Is that possible for guys to just all of a sudden one day feel better and have that carry into the next few?
They say hitting is contagious, but I think not hitting is just as contagious, and people start to put pressure on themselves to carry the offense when in reality, in baseball especially, we know that can't happen. And hopefully it'll loosen us up a little bit, start to build the confidence all the guys, and we can kind of finish this thing strong.
The last time we were in Midland, we were teased a little bit by you getting back into a game, a big pinch hit triple, and then scoring a run in a Rough Riders comeback. Here you are. You've gone through your rehab. How do you feel physically?
Physically, I feel great. I pushed my rehab hard. I started my sprints here in Frisco with Carlos and Eric, and my mindset going into it is, I'm almost going to try to rehurt it going through this stuff. Push myself every day so I know when I get back to game action everything will be all right. Got to play down in Arizona with Kenny and the AZL Rangers, and it eased the mind a little bit that I hit well when I was down there because I got to run the bases. I got to leg out some doubles, go first to third, score on a double from first base, and ever since my legs felt great. So.
Right before you got hurt, you were talking about how you were as locked in as you maybe have ever felt, and certainly it showed that on the field with all those home runs in your first few games. And I'm sure there was a little bit of concern about losing some of that. How does your swing feel? How do you feel up there offensively when it comes to timing and rhythm, everything you do up there at the plate?
I know it's just rookie ball, but to hit 400 at any level in the minor leagues, no matter where it is, baseball is baseball. You're bound to make outs. But as soon as I got in the batter's box, my timing seemed to be fine down in Arizona. I kind of caught a little funk for a couple games in San Antonio, but that's baseball and it'll happen. Got to end the series with a triple in the top of the ninth inning, and hopefully that'll carry over into this series with Midland.
And earlier in the game, you faced a knuckleballer. Have you faced many of those in your baseball past? And what was it like facing Bonan yesterday?
Being in Fort Myers, we used to face Tim Wakefield every once in a while in spring training. He'd come and make some spot starts on the minor league side. It's always a little different because their repertoire is always a little off. You never know how much they're going to work in the fastball. Yesterday I saw even a little slider I hadn't seen or known he was going to have because he never showed in warm-ups. And you always kind of go up there with a plan, but once you're in the batter's box and you start seeing all this different funky stuff coming up there, everything changes. But I don't know, yesterday I wasn't as aggressive as I felt I should have been. But it's always fun to face a knuckleballer because you don't get to do it too often.
Getting back to your injury, how frustrating was it for you in the sense that you just joined this new organization, a new chance to start over, and then 10 games in, boom, you go down for about a month and a half? Did that take a toll on you at all?
You never want to be hurt, but especially right after coming over to the Rangers, them giving me a second chance by claiming me off of waivers. The last thing I wanted to do was get hurt and miss time. And at the same time, I was in a little zone you never really get to all the time, and seeing the ball well, hitting the ball well. Mentally, it was a little draining, especially having to sit up here on the bench and watch all the games and the ups and downs of the team, and knowing there was nothing I could do to contribute. But it's part of baseball. Being hurt is part of the game, and it was something you really can't control. I tried toughening it out and playing through the tear in the groin, but that didn't work out, as we saw. But now that it's over, when the game's taken away from you, you realize how much you love it because you want to get back out there. If anything, help me motivate me through my rehab and hopefully get me going here for the month of August.
I think it's safe to say, after seeing you here for the last couple of months that you're an intense guy, especially when it comes to being out there on the field, full focus and everything. Has anyone ever suggested to you that maybe you tone it down a back just in the interest of self-preservation, or is that just not you?
I don't know. I've always heard I have a football mentality to the game of baseball, but it's really instinctual. You hit a ground ball, the first thing I think is to run hard. I don't know if it's my way of venting, knowing, I'm assuming I'm making it out or what, but I've always been taught to play this game hard, and it's always a mentality I've taken into it. I know coaches and everything love it, but then at the same time, there's also the sacrifice of, I did it on a casual 4-3 when I could have probably pulled up a little bit and eased my way to first base. Spending some time on the DL with the Twins, I think you learn that there's a give and take to some of the stuff, but it won't stop me from playing this game hard.
Your alma mater, Catholic Academy in Joliet, tremendous sports program. Looking through all the alumni that have been there, just the famous athletes and guys that have gone on to play professional baseball, it really is amazing that all those folks came out of the same program. Of course, Rudy is probably the most famous to come out of your school, and you said that you're familiar with the family, right?
Yeah, family, friends. Johnny played. We were on the same varsity team together. He was a sophomore, I was a senior. I grew up going to a Catholic school in the Joliet Diocese with his niece, Caitlin Rudiger, and his brother, Francis Rudiger, is a very, very close friend of mine, even to this day, and he runs a gym in the area for local high school students, and I was going to all high school. I went to Rudy's gym, and he's kind of been a big mentor and an influence in my life off the field also.
So it must be a real strong sports program there. Did that what you felt like when you were there?
Yeah, they kind of, we're a Catholic school, and I know there's always the recruiting deal to it, but if you look, there's a lot of families who send their children, and it keeps going, and, it's just rich in tradition, and, each new class wants to better the one before them, and I think it's almost contagious to the fact that everyone wants to keep carrying on the strong tradition that was started back in the day at Joliet Catholic, and whether by chance or the personnel, it's bred some pretty impressive athletes.
Here with Joe Benson, and Joe, just looking ahead over the last month of the season, what goals do you have in mind here as you try and finish out strong here in your first season with the Rangers?
I just like to, keep going day in and day out. I'd love to make the playoffs with this squad. I'm not too familiar with the standings as of right now, but just play hard the month of August, finish strong. Like to make it so where I get a camp invite next year, hopefully stay on the 40-man roster. As far as playing for September or any type of September call-up, you can't really think of that stuff. The game will take care of itself, but just play hard day in and day out. Focus and try and get these guys going for the end of August here. Maybe make a playoff push or so.
Well, Joe, great to see the triple last night. You're running hard on that, and best of luck here moving forward. Hopefully you stay healthy and you're able to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish here over the next month. Thanks for the time.
All right, thank you.
That's Joe Benson. We're back after this here on the Frisco Rough Riders Baseball Network.